The truth is that when you come seeking a hair transplant, and even after, you're not just a client. For us, you're a patient, and a patient for a reason. The key word here in this talk is the patient's patience. In medicine, patience isn't just a virtue, it's practically a prescription. Think of the recovery phase after hair transplant as planting a garden. No amount of staring at the soil will make the sprouts grow faster. It takes time, it takes care, and it takes trust in the process. So buckle up and let your patience show. Let your patience take root. Put your patience to good use, because every great result begins with a slow, steady journey. Of course, it's only natural to feel impatient. After all, you've procrastinated enough, spent ages debating about the upcoming hair transplant, whether you should do it, whether you should not do it. But now that the procedure is behind you, you are now eager, you are now impatient. You want your hair to sprout overnight so life can get back on track. If that's you, then this video is the video you've been waiting for. So take a deep breath, enjoy the process, enjoy the journey, but trust the timeline. Today I'll be diving into two key factors that are on every hair transplant patient's mind. And number one, when can you get back to work? Daily activities, work responsibilities, and even sports. And second, what can you realistically expect from your hair transplant? When will you finally see the transformation? And what twists and turns lie ahead on this long winding road to new hair growth? Buckle up, because it's a journey worth understanding. As you embark on your hair regrowth journey after your hair transplant, I wanted to take a moment to chat about something that's as crucial as the procedure itself: timelines. The timeline of hair regrowth after your hair transplant. You know what they say, a stitch in time saves 9. Very appropriate after a hair transplant when you're caring for your roots. After your hair transplants, it's very important to stick to the timeline provided by your surgeon. Think of it as a recipe. If you skip the rising time of your dough while you're baking, you might end up with a flat loaf instead of the fluffy bread you were hoping for. And so it is with new hair after hair transplant. Each phase of the recovery process has its unique role in helping you achieve the best results possible. So let us discuss the various phases of recovery one by one. The first 3 days. The first 3 days after your hair transplant are critical. You're dealing with grafts which are still taking root. You're dealing with gravity. You're dealing with the likelihood of desiccation, grafts drying up for lack of care. You're dealing with microbes, bacteria in the environment, your body fighting against infection, and the laborious intensive care in the first 3 days, a routine which is rather complicated. So plan your travel and returning to work accordingly as you are comfortable after taking medical advice. You can travel abroad by plane anytime after 36 hours of the procedure. But long journeys by train, long journeys by bus, long journeys by car are to be avoided. And remember, you cannot drive the car for 3 days after the procedure. As far as returning to work is concerned, it depends upon what work you're engaged in. If it's a white-collar job, a desk job, you can join immediately the next day after the hair transplant with a few restrictions. But if you engage in work outdoors, especially heavy work outdoors, in a farm, in a factory, or you are an airlines pilot or a deep-sea diver, you will need to wait a bit longer. Intimacy at this stage is best avoided. From the 3rd to the 5th day after the hair transplant, you start to get used to the routine. And this is the time when patient calls to the clinic decrease momentarily. You're still on medication. You're still spraying your planted areas every 2 waking hours. But now you started to experience tightness developing in your scalp as your crusts mature, as the crusts begin to lift. However, your scalp donor area and the beard donor area have started to return to normalcy. But you cannot get your bandana off while going outdoors or meeting people indoors as well, because your recipient area looks crusty, your recipient area looks ugly, not fit for social exposure. You cannot return to the gym, you cannot go out swimming, you cannot surf, you cannot enter the sea. And for those of you who are planning to visit Goa after the hair transplant to while away the ugly duckling phase, it is not the right place to recover. Kasauli is, and we have a villa there for a purpose. For our patients to recover in the pristine environments of the Shivalik foothills with a clear view of the majestic, magnificent Himalayas. And many patients do go there to recover for the first 3 days, or the first 5 days, sometimes even a month. till they get back to some sort of semblance of normalcy before they return home. And then we come to the 5th to 14th day after the hair transplant. This is the phase when you're fed up of the care, fed up of the daily routine of aftercare after hair transplant, and you want to get over with the crusts. Impatiently or subconsciously, sometimes at night, you may start to pick at your crusts, which is not a good thing to do. Keep your peace. The protocol, the care after the hair transplant is soon going to get over, and there will be not much care left after the 2 weeks mark is over. During this phase, do not swim. Do not expose your head to the blazing sun, or the rain, or the hail, or the snow. Now you can start cardio at the gym. You can start running. You can do cycling, but do not lift heavy weights or engage in contact sports. For excessive exercises will increase the blood flow and cause discomfort. And now we are on the 14th day. Many people have been expecting that the crusts would have come off, but they're still there. Never mind. Go under the shower. At this stage, municipal water will do you no harm. Your skin is now watertight, and the roots are deep inside, away from harm's way. Gather a lot of lather from the baby shampoo that has been provided to you on your palm, place it over the recipient area, and with firm circular movements of your forefinger and the middle finger, tease the crusts off from the recipient area. By the second shower in the evening, they should all be off. And that's the time you should contact the clinic and send us up pictures. And your next problem is the shedding that you see. My phone overflows with pictures of shedded grafts, remnants of dreams unraveling and then totally shattered, sent by patients who, heartbroken and weary, believe that the labor of love has been in vain. They whisper of despair, convinced their worst fears about the hair transplant have now come alive, and that the promise that was laid out to them about the hair transplant has abandoned them. Like a forlorn lover, a lover betrayed, who pens down one final letter after their hopes are lost in the winds of fate forever. But do not get so disenchanted. We are always there to help you out. We are always there for support. And we have already primed you about the shedding phase and the ugly duckling phase. But you never wanted to hear about it. Everyone, let me tell you, goes through this pain, and so will you. But you will not regret your hair transplant after the 6 months are over, let me assure you that. Shedding is real. Shedding is painful. But let's face it, shedding is just nature hitting the reset button. Even the grandest, most majestic, most beautiful trees drop their leaves in autumn, letting go of the old to grow anew. So when your precious new grafts seem to take a step back, remember, you're not losing. You're making way for a fresh, stronger revival. Think of it as the fall before your very own spring of flourishing hair. While it might seem alarming, and it's natural to believe that way, this shedding is actually a sign that the follicles are making way for new growth. Let me assure you, you'll get through this soon enough, but only if you can weather the ugly duckling phase, which is soon going to take over. Take over your emotions, take over the way you look. It's a test of patience and persistence all the way. But remember, even diamonds are forged under pressure. And as the old saying goes, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And in this case, makes your hair grow in thicker and better than before. You can resume most activities at this stage. Only no swimming till 3 weeks, no going out into the midday sun, no contact sports, no wearing a helmet or a turban till 6 weeks are over. And now the ugly duckling phase in the 2 to 6 weeks mark. And I've already discussed this in the link above. After a hair transplant, for many patients, they go through the same 5 stages of grief. That is denial, anger, betrayal, or some say bargaining, depression, and finally acceptance. Many clinics, not ours, might even hesitate in picking up your phone at this stage if you carry this sob story too far. The early part of this phase involves more pain as hair continue to shed. You're back to where you started, even worse, till most hairs have gone by the 6th week mark. It is quite strange that when we have already explained to you about the shedding phase in great detail, both verbally and in print, and you have also put your signature on the explanation, how fast your mind has forgotten the flip side of the recovery process. It's amazing. And now we come on to the acceptance phase. You have accepted your shedding phase. The shedding phase is well past, and now you're prepared to wait for the regrowth to happen. But you're still suspicious of the clinic's promise that the hair will grow out. Can't blame you. You look into the mirror 30 times a day for the first follicle to spring out, At this stage, to diminish the contrast between existing hair and the growing hair, whatever is left of it, you may visit the salon, you may visit your barber and have a haircut. And during the 3rd to 5th month after hair transplant, depending upon what your age is, you will start to see the results of your labor. Around the 14th week mark, you will begin to notice tiny hairs all over the recipient area. These are fuzzy hair, fine hair, baby hair, what we call as vellus hair. They are not combable hair. And the new hair that is sprouting will grow at different rates because hair have different cycles. And the cycle that we picked out the hair from will be maintained. And the hair that grows out may be lighter in shade. By month 5, you should start to see more density, more thickness. The hair will continue to darken, become more robust. At the 6 months mark, many patients begin to experiment with styling their new hair. And this is an exciting time, what you've been waiting for. And remember to celebrate these small victories. And don't forget to give us a call to send us pictures of your progress. And this is the time we would like to reschedule your medical treatment, upscale it, downscale it, or even stop it. So the journey after hair transplant is a blend of anticipation and patience. Each phase, from the initial days of careful healing to the eventual flourishing of your new hair, requires adherence to laid down guidelines and, more importantly, a positive mindset. As you navigate through these stages, remember that every cloud has a silver lining, and soon enough you'll be enjoying the results of your hard work and dedication. So embrace the process, stay committed to your aftercare, and you'll be well on your way to a head full of healthy hair. I'm aware of the fact that waiting after hair transplant for the result to come is like watching paint dry, but patience is the key, as I said before. Remember, good things come to those who wait. Your hair follicles need to settle in before they begin to grow. Follow the post-care instructions diligently. Cleaning, moisturizing, protecting your scalp are all part of the game plan. Cheers to new beginnings.